Hi, so I wanted to do a review of the Sony 100mm f2.8 macro lens. This is a really cool lens, lets you do one-to-one magnification onto your sensor, and by doing that you can get some really cool close-up images. You get really shallow depth of field while you do it, but it's a very cool lens. So first I'll show you the lens. I'm going to cycle through a couple pictures of the lens itself. I'll show you some focus speed and some sample images that I've taken since I've had this lens. I've owned this lens for about 4 months now, and I've had a little bit of time to experiment with it. I use it mostly in the studio, but I've taken it outside a few times. I'm really looking forward to trying to get some insect pictures, but you need to have the lighting just right to do that. It's kind of difficult, so I'm still trying to learn and figure out exactly how to do that properly. Just to show you the lens on the Alpha A77, we have a focus lock limiter here, which will reduce the zoom range, as you can see it trying to acquire focus. Focus speed is not exactly fast. Focus speed with the limiter on, that's the limited range. When you turn the focus limiter off, it expands the focus range to the entire, from infinity to one-to-one magnification, and because of that the zoom takes substantially longer to go through that whole range. There you are, all the way back. So that kind of gives you an idea. When I'm doing macro stuff close to one-to-one magnification, I'll typically switch the camera to manual focus mode, zoom it out, and then just move my body or the camera to get the exact focus that I want. It's a little bit easier than trying to focus because the depth of field is so shallow, it's difficult. Okay, so now I wanted to show some sample images that I've taken using the A77 and the Sony 100mm f2.8 macro in the last 4 months that I've had this lens. So the first couple shots are just messing around kind of in the studio and around the house. Here's a cat eye. Looks kind of cool. This was taken in natural sunlight. You can see how shallow the depth of field is with this lens at close to one-to-one magnification. Here's my own eyeball where I blinded myself. Depth of field is really shallow, even at f10. Composite image, you can kind of see the amazing detail that this lens can pick up in the eyelashes. Here is a coin. You can see the grain pattern, the indentations, the elevations of this coin. It's really cool. F13, you can see how shallow the depth of field is at close to one-to-one. That's just the nature of a macro lens. Another one, you can see the raised lettering from where it was struck. Studio shot of a flower. The amount of detail this lens can pick up is remarkable. See a little hair. Produces beautiful images. Here was an experiment that I did using Photoshop and the Drosty effect. Took a picture of this watch and then I applied the effect recursively for infinity. Here's another shot of the same watch face. Pretty cool. Close to one-to-one on a ring. Then I took this last weekend to the flower fields. I decided to use the 100mm macro exclusively this day just to take it out and experiment with. It was a bright sunny day at around noon, so harsh light. Windy. So everything here was handheld. I used a flash occasionally, but mostly not. You can see how the background blows out of these. It's beautiful. Bokeh is really nice. Picks up a lot of detail. Really captures some nice images. A couple more just to the fields. See how the colors just fade. This one gives you an example of how shallow depth of field is. So a shot at f5 handheld, kind of windy, blowing flower. I was lucky to capture this, but I tried. This I wanted to show an example of the color fringing that can happen. This is partly because of the A77, partly because of the lens, and partly because of the post-processing. Straight out of the camera, it's not as bad, but as soon as you bring up the shadows, it really amplifies the purple fringe. Here's a flower. See the pollen on it. So, I shot using flash to darken the background. This kind of shows the bokeh how it really is buttery. It makes the background fade out nicely, and still a lot of foreground detail. Another shot with flash. Shallow depth of field. You can see the pollen. A lot of detail. Some nice flower shots against the sun. Dynamic range of this A77 sensor is pretty cool, and with this lens it's beautiful. Another shot, little bit of color fringing, but not too bad, considering this guy was in complete shadow and the background was extremely bright. So anyway, that's a few of my test shots from the A77 and the 100mm macro over the last couple months. Hope this helps someone. Alright, thanks. Bye.